On this island, happily oblivious to the nearby presence of 120 million people, there is, in season, a small breeding colony of the smallest and perhaps most graceful of all 39 species that make up the far-flung tern family. At only 20 centimeters, that's 8 inches long, this dainty bird is less than half the size of most terns. His name, of course, is little tern, also known as least tern. Like terns everywhere, the little tern arrives each year at a special rocky spot where mating will take place. And like terns everywhere, each year when he gets there, he carries out the elaborate and highly detailed rituals of courtship. When he presents her with a gift, it is not merely a minnow, nor merely a token of his affection. What looks like an amusing game in the wilds is, as are most wilderness activities, part of the serious business of survival. He is attempting to prove that if accepted, he will be a good provider. She knows instinctively, though this could be her first year of sexual maturity, that when the young are in the nest, it will be hard work to keep them fed. And if they're not fed, they'll die. She has to believe a prospective mate really will carry his share of the load, that he really will help in incubation, and will be able to keep a nest of hungry chicks well fed. He has to show her that he is serious and capable. It's a big order. Only when and if she becomes really convinced will she allow him to take her. Some females take a lot of persuading. Here's another good survival technique. Camouflage. The hidden eggs. See them? They're there, right in front of you. Hidden in plain sight. And if you're a hungry predator, a prowling fox maybe, or a sharp-eyed gull, they're just as hard to spot. Score one for the little tern. A tern nest is a modest affair. She may have pushed a few rocks aside with her feet, turning in a circular motion as she did to create a shallow, saucer-like depression. Not terribly comfortable, but in nature, if it works, it works. Incubation will take from 21 to 28 days, depending on how careful the terns are to keep the eggs at a warm, even temperature. Too cold and the tiny embryos now stirring within the eggs will die. Too hot and a blazing sun can easily raise the surface temperature here to burning level, and they will cook. Not all bird species do this, but in tern families, perhaps they're more liberated, both male and female share nesting duties. When it's his turn, the male tern takes over. Incidentally, one of the tough things with terns is to tell the difference between male and female. They have this difficulty themselves, especially during courtship. In the end, they know by little sounds and by behavior. Both, of course, must spend time on personal grooming. Keeping their feathers fit is just as important as seeing that all systems are in perfect working order on a modern jetliner. If they're not, you don't fly. And it won't be long before the need to fly will be pressing. There'll be all those mouths to feed. It's a small colony, but the size is proving to be efficient. Nearby food supply is adequate. Predators have so far been kept at bay. Finally, their patience is rewarded. As most of the terns in the colony arrived at the same time, courted at the same time, their chicks will be born within a few days of each other. This too is essential. When the colony leaves the breeding grounds, latecomers will be left behind. The chicks are precocial. That is, they're born with their eyes open and they're fluffy within minutes. You're vulnerable when you're born in full view of the world. You have to be able to get around as soon as possible. It also helps when you, like the eggs, come in perfect designer colors. Makes you hard to spot. Means you'll live longer. Note the little white bump on the top of the bill. It's the egg tooth. It'll disappear in a day or two. Its use is being illustrated now. A small hole is appearing at the top of that back egg. Another chick is using his egg tooth to break out of his shell and begin his brave new life. The chick embryo has lived and grown within the shell for some 3 weeks. During that time, oxygen has been supplied through a network of blood vessels reaching out to the surprisingly porous shell. This system has also handled disposal of carbon dioxide. During the last few minutes, the chick has absorbed water from the albumin, the white of the eggs, into its own body. This created a small airspace between membrane and shell. The chick broke into that space, began to breathe air on its own for the first time, and is now engaged in the classic struggle for life. He's on his way out into the world. It's the oldest story of all, and still the most amazing. The miracle of birth. Almost immediately, Mother Tern steps into the nest. But she's not there to cuddle the newborn. Not yet. First, she will remove the evidence. No predator will be drawn to her chicks by the telltale signs of newly broken eggshells near the nest. She will take all traces of eggshell and dispose of them in some remote location. Now the reason for the nest's modesty of appearance becomes evident. With the broken shell gone, and both chick and remaining egg colored to match the surrounding stones, the camouflage is again complete. Chicks of the tern family remain in the nest for only the first day or two. After that, one or the other of the parents will keep coming back to the nest to protect the young from rain or chill or too much sun. But only for a while. Life is real and time is short. Soon they will have to learn to be on their own. The young of this little tern colony must be fledged and strong and ready to fly within a matter of weeks, or be left behind, which would be a death sentence. The sweet, innocent little balls of fluff are not so innocent that they don't instinctively know this. Their persistent demands for food, even when barely out of the shell, are primeval cries that echo down through the ages. Feed me, they are saying, for I must quickly grow strong and learn to defend myself. The perils of this world are many and threatening. For their part, the adult birds recognize the dangers of too much squawking. Excess noise may attract predators. Studies have found that particular chicks that make a great deal of noise really do drive their parents to bring them more food, perhaps because of the danger of noise, which enables them to grow faster, which actually does improve their chances of